So we're gonna be calling Shanon High.
Downey, this is your team. Please get us a Dairy Queen. We miss you, Downey. Please go home, Downey.
My name is Shanon High, and I'm ready to be your junior class president.
It's the Shanon Show, everyone. Welcome back. Another episode. This week, I have a man that is not my tech guy. It is Max Guo on the podcast. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's great to be here. It's lovely to be here. Thank you so much, Shanon.
Yeah, I'm very happy to have you on the show, Max. This is an absolute pleasure. You're a wise guy. Very, very important person.
Thank you.
Yes, I think a lot of people want to enjoy this, gain some wisdom from Max and what he's accomplished over his young life so far, what he has ahead of him as well. But yeah, let's get down to the nitty gritty about you. What do you say? We got a star journalist from Kubasaki High School, moves on to Penn State, now writing for that newspaper, Daily Collegian. What makes good journalism, Max?
What makes good journalism?
Yeah.
That might be a little bit of a tough question. I say probably just hitting your deadlines is just always being there. You got a lot of responsibility, no matter what level of, I guess, journalisming you're doing. Like if you're part of the team, you're part of the team. You're gonna have things you got to do, just basic stuff, and you just got to be there. People are gonna rely on you.
How did you get involved in that? Because this was your freshman year. You hopped in right away. It seemed like.
Well, yeah. So the Daily Collegian, they're pretty good in, getting themselves out there. I mean, they are a newspaper. So I think how I originally got into it was a newsletter went out and it hit my inbox and it was like, hey, the school newspaper here, they're looking for, people to go in. Their application period is starting. Yeah. And I'm like, I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's something I think I want to do because, I did one semester of journalism in high school. I didn't continue just because, Kubi journalism, at least newspaper journalism was not, super supported. And I, while in high school, when I was doing it, it turned out to be something I really liked. Like even on, I think the hardest days of journalism, at least the class, working in newspaper with all the stress, I was still, at the end of the day, enjoying it. Yeah. So, and I don't think there's a lot of things in life that, at least for me, that are like that. So
that's great.
Yeah, so but the problem in high school was like, yeah, I got a little taste of it, but I couldn't really move on, because we had all these limitation restrictions. So when I got out of high school, went to college, I saw this newsletter and like, hey, I should really try this out because the Daily Collegian, they're much larger scale. They actually print. They have a newspaper. They have like a multimedia team. They got a whole Rolodex of people on their team. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna apply. So I applied, submitted everything. And I got into their candidate program, and that was basically my last semester, just working with them as a candidate.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that this journalism impression on you is largely due to Mr. West?
He definitely played a huge role. I mean, we couldn't be the journalism class of only 6 people without a teacher. So right. he did teach me a lot. He also kind of taught me that if he was the teacher and I was enjoying it, then this is something really close to me, right?
That's fair. Yeah, that's a very nice way of putting it.
Yeah, I gotta thank him for what he's done, what he's taught. Yeah,
fun guy. We'll say that. Hope he's doing well. Seriously.
Hope he's great. Hope he's doing good.
Now you guys might be wondering, Max, working with the newspaper up at Penn State, he certainly must have written an article by now about the best dorm room podcast on campus, the Shanon Show. But that is not the case. Which it really isn't that big of a deal. I'm not that brokenhearted, Max. But I was doing some research for the show, and I mean, you had some really well done articles. I mean, this looked like some professional grade stuff.
Thank you.
And I came across an article that was not only not promoting the pod, but was promoting another small content creator. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. We'll see, what is this guy doing that I'm not, per se. And sure enough, it's this t-shirt business called Very Good Shirts. Does it sound familiar? Yes. So I'm like, all right, let's take a look. So I pop open the article, look at the picture. And if you're watching on the YouTube, I'll put up the picture right now of their shirt design. Otherwise, I'll try my best to describe it for you guys. It is I think it's a crew neck sweatshirt. It has what it looks like a fish bowl that has some water on the inside, but the water is not within the confines of the bowl entirely. It's kind of spilling out of this bowl surface with a goldfish on the inside that looks seriously ill.
It's their style, man.
I'm not a fashion expert, Max, but what the hell?
No. So They're a student-run business, Shannon. It's a bit different.
Sure.
They have a lot of people.
Please.
They're connected to Penn State, and we just thought at the news team at the time, this was a couple of weeks ago, but we thought it was really interesting to kind of dive in and see what it was like to be a Penn State student, but also run a business. And what's cool specifically about these guys is that the top three guys who do this, they're all freshmen, so they just came out of high school.
Yeah.
And I think we thought it was really cool that they came to the college and immediately they're starting this business and continuing it. So we thought it was pretty newsworthy. So we went in and we took a look, and that's why I wrote it.
Wow. I mean, it was well done. Great job on your part.
Thank you.
But I could have drawn that on MS Paint in about 4 seconds. I don't even know the guy. I'm talking bad about him. I'm sure he's doing very successful things. Whatever. I'm over it, Max. It doesn't bother me. There's always next semester, bigger and better.
Yeah, next semester, I'm sure this show will take off. Like,
you're gonna be regretting it. I'm too big for the Collegian.
No. You're gonna grow, and I'm gonna pitch it to my staff and be like, "Hey, we got to write a story about this guy," and then it's all up from there. Like,
I totally see. I can see.
You're gonna have an office downtown. You're gonna have like all this publicity, people walking in all the time.
I have a team. I'll have a tech guy. Finally.
Yeah,
anyway. Is there anything in particular that you like most about writing for the paper? Is it like the process or the team? What is it for you?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd say kind of like a combination of things. One is that I really like writing, like all kinds of writing.
Yeah.
But like journalistic writing is kind of unique, and you don't really get to it's a bit weird to just like do it on your own and practice without actually like working for a newspaper or something like that. So, and I've been kind of chasing that feeling because I haven't been able to do that since high school. And so that's really cool. Another thing that I like is I'd say probably just like the interaction. I started doing I did a bit of interviewing in high school, but it was, limited. I did some at Far East journalism, but like when I got here for the Collegian, I did like actual interviewing. Like I went out and I talked to people face to face. I Zoomed them. I got to actually, strengthen my skills, ask them good questions, and write all of it down and basically take their words and form it into a paper. So yeah, I kind of like that stuff. So
that's fantastic. Whenever you're going out to interview someone, I kind of imagine, do you remember Dave Ornauer from Stars and Stripes in Okinawa?
Oh yeah, Dave. Yes.
Do you have a similar getup? Do you have like the utility belt and the vest? Like what's your reporting? What gear do you have? Daily carry.
I'm a bit more low key, I dress like any other college student,
Private investigator.
Nah. Maybe in the future, I might get a little more enthusiastic and get the utility belt and the 4 notepads stuffed into your vest. But no, this last semester I was just pretty low key. It's just me and my iPhone, just like recording what they say. But yeah.
I tried to get Dave on the pod. Actually, I sent him an email and nothing back. I couldn't believe it. I mean, that would have been an absolute catch right there.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, maybe we'll try him again sometime. He was, I don't know. He made me feel cool. If I see a picture of myself, I'm like, yeah, I'm a big deal. Stars and Stripes. That's right, baby. So Penn State, pretty big deal. We didn't even know that we were both going to the school at first.
No,
I didn't.
not.
I don't think because you weren't on campus for the first semester, right?
I was not. I was remote.
Yeah, and I was on, and then you sent me a DM, told me you were there, and I was like, that's fantastic. Love Max. Max is the best.
Yeah.
What was your college application process like for you?
Well, Penn State was not my first choice, and that's not a bad thing. But so I kind of went into the whole college deal. I really wanted to go to the Naval Academy, kind of like what Alex Saber's doing, which is great. I love that guy.
Friend of the pod.
But, friend of the pod. So that was my top pick. So I felt like most of my application process, all the energy was going towards that because their application. I'm sure you might know a bit. I don't know if Alex talked about it, but the application process it's not similar to like regular schools. It's pretty demanding. There's a lot of moving pieces. I know I started my application in like April and I didn't get word back until next April. So it was an entire year of just, working for it. On top of that, of course you have to have fallback plans. So Penn State was my plan too, but did not get into Naval Academy. I wanted to do Naval ROTC at Penn State. And I picked Penn State specifically because their battalion here is one of the largest in the schools and just really high quality education. So yeah, that was my fallback plan. So I got the word that I didn't get into the Naval Academy, and I'm like, that's all right. That's all right. I have my fallback plan, so I went to Penn State. quite honestly, I didn't know too much about the school before applying to it, and now that I was going to it, it felt a little bit weird because
Yeah.
my family's not from Pennsylvania. I've never really been in Pennsylvania, so it was a little bit
Now
scary.
you're in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, too.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a little bit scary, but I got there and I kind of just started feeling stuff, doing my courses, going through with the battalion, which is kind of like the main reason why I even picked the school. And
Yeah.
I really felt like I was kind of home. Like it really fit me well, I think. And yeah, so I feel like all the hard work I put into applying, even though I didn't get into my first pick, it really paid off because I enjoyed my time there and I'm happy now. So
yeah, it sounds great. I mean, just from what you told me about your ROTC experience thus far, it sounds great. I mean, even the whole Kit Kat guy on the dispenser.
Yeah, it gets pretty wild when you stuff a bunch of ROTC guys into the first 3 floors of a dorm. Yeah. We start doing stuff.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I've met some of the friends you've made, and great people. Shout out Nick. I mean Justin.
Yeah.
Great guy. High class. I still have to. He said he'd get merch if I made a baseball cap. I have to get that done.
Yeah, you got to roll that out. He was really enthusiastic.
I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. He's a friend of the pod. I don't know. What made you want to do Naval ROTC? What was the driving force behind that? Your motivation?
Well, I guess the main reason, it's not really ROTC specifically. It's just like the Navy in general. So I am a military kid. It kind of started from the beginning. When I was a kid, we immigrated from China to America, and my mother, she kind of just like worked a bunch of like odd jobs when we first got here. And then one day she got a call from a recruiter. He's like, hey, like you can join the Navy and do all these things. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So she enlisted, and it kind of just changed our lives basically.
Wow.
At first you don't really feel it because, she's off at boot camp. And I still remember like visiting her at graduation, and eventually she got stationed in Virginia, and then she got stationed overseas in Yokosuka. And that's when we all moved to Japan. So yeah, so like through that whole experience, I didn't really see it at first, but I realized that she made a lot of sacrifices for myself and my brother. When she first enlisted, I was 4. I was 4 years old. Yeah. So I noticed that I really came to terms with like she made a lot of sacrifices for us, gave us a lot of opportunity, and I don't know. I always felt like kind of look back in hindsight, like what if we didn't, our family wasn't connected to the military, like where would I be now? Would I still be in like New York or something? What would I be doing with my life? And I just can't really imagine it. And in a way, I felt like in a debt to my country almost, because, I did immigrate. I'm not from America. And I felt like just moving here alone gave me and my family so much opportunity. And being in that military child lifestyle where the military is basically the center of your life, I felt like I owed something. And I felt, the military was kind of like my calling. So yeah, that really motivated me to, get through high school, get all these good grades, and serve basically through the academy or through ROTC. The end goal is basically the same. So yeah.
That's hella inspiring, man. Come on. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, what a story. And it makes a lot of sense too. Like and you seem really dedicated to it. So that's fantastic. I'm glad you're doing something that you love doing. And I haven't even mentioned this yet. History major. Why that?
History major. Well,
Whoa, what's that reaction for?
No. It's just
this is your bread and butter.
Yeah, it is my bread and butter. What am I doing? Anyways, yeah, history. I've always loved history. I've always loved history through I think even before elementary school, I just thought it was fantastic. Oh, actually, I got something. So
nice.
When I was a kid, my parents got me a book, and I just have it here. It's pretty good condition. Wow. It's this American history book, right?
Looks brand new.
Yeah, I kept it very well kept. But anyways. They gifted me this, I think my parents, and I read this thing, like whole thing, like every single page, like front to back, and I just enjoy it. I saw history, American history though, as like this great story, and what makes it even better is that like it's not just like a story, like these things actually happen. So I was kind of captivated, kind of in the way of how like you read like a fairy tale or something, or a good book, like you just really immersed in that story. And that was me with American history. And I just love this book so much. I just read it all the time. And when I got to school, I started studying it, and I really liked it from the academic standpoint. Then we get to high school, and I'm taking AP US history. I would probably say that's my favorite course in Kubi of all time, probably. And
With
it's not.
Miss Herrera.
So I was gonna get to that.
Please go ahead.
So it's one of those things where like it doesn't even matter what the class is like. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the teacher's like, what the workload is like. I just felt, good. I just felt happy doing it. I felt really like genuinely interested to the point where like the teacher could be terrible or like we could just get so much work and I'd still be fine with it because this is something I'm passionate about. So yeah, so when I get to college and you're deciding what to major in, I actually had like a bit of a dilemma because at the time I didn't have the national scholarship for ROTC and I was still applying. And how the Navy looks at it is they give they're more interested in like STEM majors because, highly technical branch, I guess. And, moving to the future, we're just going to need more and more STEM people. So they actually like say on their website that you have like a significant, like less of a chance of getting awarded a scholarship if you're not one of these STEM majors. Like, I think the figure is like only 15% of tier 3, which are people who are non-STEM. Only 15% of them get awarded the scholarship each year out of everyone who does. And I was kind of thinking about like, hey, it might be in my best interest if I actually did pick like a STEM major just so I could, get the scholarship and just, be better off. But I made the decision because I know that I like history and I also know that I'm not a great science person. I'm not a great math person. And I thought it over and I was like, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth grinding 4 years for a major that you're not interested in just so you could get like this scholarship with the Navy. So I chose history because I knew even without the benefits of the scholarship, I would at least be happy. I would at least be, good. I would be feeling good about what I'm studying. And it ended up working out for me because I did submit that application and I wrote tier 3 on it, history, and I ended up getting it. So that's like the best possible scenario in my book. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So now I'm allowed to do what I want with the Navy, but I'm also allowed to study what I want. So
that's what's important. Good. Wow, man. That is like, it's so rational. Like it seems so simple whenever you say it, but like there is like really strong confliction, like picking what you want to do and what you think will be, I don't know, like best. To someone else's standards. I don't know. It's it can be difficult for sure. And I love the way you like talked about getting interested in history and the American story. That's, good job, Max. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah.
So what exactly is next for you going into the Navy and history? I'm not sure how much history is going to be involved going in the Navy moving forward, but what's like the dream life for you 5 years from now? What does Max want to do ultimately?
5 years from now, that's good. So obviously I like the commission with Penn State probably. Go through completely all 4 years. Hopefully I have a great time and I'll be hitting the fleet in 5 years. Out of all so we get to pick like our service, what's the word? Basically like the field, the community we go into after we commission. And we actually don't have a lot of options as far as ROTC goes, but something that really interested me was surface warfare. So basically that's like working on ships. And that could go from anywhere to, working the bridge, working in the combat center, or working in like, things like damage control and things like that. And I gravitated towards that because my mom, she was not a SWO, surface warfare officer, but she worked a lot of her time on ships. So she was constantly deployed. She was on aircraft carriers and so that kind of lifestyle kind of a little bit inspired me, and I was able to kind of like talk to her for, just like stories and experience. And I thought it was something really cool. So out of all the communities we can commission into right now, I think SWO is the most interesting thing for me. But the thing about Naval ROTC is that like these 4 years, like you don't have to make this decision like now. Like I don't have to put my list and be like, sign a contract or something like, when you commission, you'll be this. These 4 years are for you to kind of like, learn and experience and get out there. Like that's kind of what our training's for. Like they send us out and we kind of like look at all these communities. So we can look at aviation, we can look at Marine Corps, we can look at submarines. So maybe by the end of my 4 years, my mind might change and I'll go for something. But as of now, I'm pretty set towards SWO. Beyond that, I don't know how long I want to stay in the Navy. I think I kind of have to like actually be in it to make that decision. But I've always wanted to, actually use my major and do something with it. So I've always imagined myself after I get out of the Navy, whenever, to be teaching history and maybe even
Dodea?
DODS. Yeah,
That's
Dodea,
what I'm
maybe,
talking about.
Maybe I'll go back to Kubi and I'll teach in where Miss Herrera once stood. I'll be there. So
That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah, but that's
some
basically
of those, some of those teachers could be replaced. No, I'm not calling anyone out, but I mean, we could have some upgrades in the history department. Max would be fantastic. Dude, that's awesome. And I'm spending the 4 years at Penn State. I mean, from what I know about you, you're enjoying it so far. And most importantly, I realized something I learned about you is you're a fantastic strip volleyball player. I mean, just like the pinnacle. We don't have to get into it. It was
fun.
Fantastic.
It was fun.
And billiards.
And billiards, yeah, I'm very good at billiards. I'm sure Cammy still has the pictures where I got really friendly with the table and I got
is that a legal move? I'm not sure. Pretty competitive.
It's legal where I come from. It's a bit of a regional thing, I think, maybe, but yeah,
it's a type of style of play, I guess.
Yeah, it's a unique style of play.
It can be really intense whenever you're really bad at the game. It's because like you're just the thrill of actually making contact with one of the balls or getting one in the hole is just it's exhilarating.
Yeah, you get into it. You get immersed.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we were just walking by Old Main one day after game billiards, and these girls, few guys. I think we ended up knowing one of them, or at least you did.
Yeah, one of them turned out to be my roommate's good friend, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Just random chance that he was there. So yeah.
And played some volleyball with them, which included losing some articles of clothing. It wasn't that crazy. I'm not going to make it seem like it was more than it was. Yeah, it was
our wellness day. It was our wellness day. That day was for ourselves. So
we were well. Yes.
Yeah.
We were well. Max was really well. I mean, I did accidentally hit you with.
That is true, Shannon. Let me tell you right now. Let me tell the pod right now, Shannon. You do not want to get him into any kind of competitive kind of sport where he can hurt other people, because he gets really into the game no matter what it is. It could be something so less as strip volleyball, and he'll get really attached, and he's pushing for that win 24/7. And if you get in his way, you're going down. So.
I'm a nice guy, guys. Make it seem way worse than it was. There wasn't even a net, too. I do get competitive, but whatever, man. It was a good time. And actually, I think the first time we hung out, we went with Cammy. I guess we give Cammy a shout out. Her and her fish. And I think she said her mom watches the pod or listens. Not sure what's going on.
Oh yeah, she said. I think
Cammy's mom.
Her mom's a big fan of what you do. So
yeah, I
shout her out.
I appreciate any attention from the fans. I don't. Very strange. Cammy's very nice though. We went to Chipotle or something like that and had a little fundraiser going on, which I forgot to raise funds for.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's like the main.
You know how stupid that is. Wait a second. I don't know what that particular fundraiser was actually for. I think. I'm not sure if you know either. I don't think it matters. Whatever. I'm saying if it's for something like really important though, like starving children or like medical research or something like that, they shouldn't have to ask me. They should assume my morals are enough that I would put my money towards that if it's not any increase in what I'm already paying. I don't think there should even be a question. I shouldn't even have to say that. It should be assumed that we are all good people and that they should just press the donate button. I don't see what the big deal is. Also, if you're the employee pressing skip on that all day long, do you know how many children they aren't feeding by assuming that we're horrible people, Max?
They can't just take 33% of your money that you give them without your permission. And I get the argument. If it was for something like so much more dramatic, like starving children, yeah, maybe they should. But this was for like women for PSU or something. So
whoa, is women not as important as starving children?
No. I'm just saying that it's an org. It's like
this is a pro women podcast.
It's a Penn State org. They can't just like take money because it's so dire. You got to be there and show them the thing. Like, hey, I'm here for the fundraiser, which you failed to do. So. Yeah, I don't know, Shannon.
It shouldn't. If it's a fundraiser night, it should just be assumed that we're all there and good spirits for the fundraiser. Whatever. Chipotle. I have a lot of issues at Chipotle, man. It's. I don't like. We let them off the hook with the whole Ebola thing and the lettuce a couple of years back. We didn't. No one talks about that anymore. How do you even get Ebola in lettuce? It's ridiculous. They're just like, oh, but it's Chipotle. Okay, and they say they have this healthy food that it's wonderful for you, but whenever I walk in there and I see 10-year-olds with 6-inch diameter burritos going down their throat, I
Oh,
can't buy that it's healthy. I'm serious. It's like this big, bro.
yeah, the portions are a bit of a problem, but I mean it's okay.
If you eat enough of any healthy food, it becomes unhealthy at some point. The portions are ridiculous.
Yeah,
They
you
cannot be
can't
healthy at that
you
point.
can't go there more than like once a week, I think. But yeah.
The size of those burritos should not be fit for human consumption. Uh, let's talk about military kids. Best military kids podcast on the internet. And Max, military
Oh,
kid,
yeah.
as you already mentioned.
Oh yeah.
You already mentioned the places you lived. Which move do you think was most difficult for you?
Probably the first move from New
Mhm.
York to Yokosuka because,
It's a
well,
big one.
I've never stepped out of the country except for China since then. I knew like nothing about Japan. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was just that was when it like kind of first hit me. Like that's when I really had to say goodbye to all my friends. I know
Yeah.
we had like a bit basically a party for my fourth grade class when I left, and it just astonished me because what they had done was not only did they have a party, but like afterwards, every single person in the class like wrote a bunch of letters or like made art or whatever, and
Mhm.
including the teacher, and they sent it to my mom. And now I still have it, this huge Ziploc bag, just full of all these like colorful little letters from all my friends back from
Yeah.
New York. So yeah, that it was tough. It was really tough, I think. Just to do that for the first time and move halfway across the world. So yeah, when I actually got to Japan, I was actually in pretty capable hands because it just so happens that my mom and my dad, they're trilingual, and Japanese is one of those languages.
Oh wow, that's
So
convenient. Yeah.
because so we kind of fit in pretty well.
Yeah.
I was able to make friends, but yeah, it was hard saying goodbye.
Mhm. Fourth graders are so nice, man. I don't know what happens. I don't know. Kids get mean like seventh, eighth grade. They turn
Something
into. I don't
happens in
know.
middle school.
I don't know what's in
They
the
put
air.
something in
those
the
moments.
water, I think. It's
What are we doing? I don't understand how kids can go from so sweet to like, thank God he's gone. Like, I just so mean. I swear. If there's any younger kids, get it together. Do you think the military kid lifestyle has like changed you as a whole? I mean, a lot of times you hear like more adaptable. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think I do. Like especially like going to college and meeting all these people from PA who've basically
Yeah.
been nowhere except PA. Like they have like a home,
Mhm.
like one home. Where like military kids, like people ask you like where are you from, and you kind of
Oh,
get a
forget
little
about
bit
it.
like forget about it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Camp Foster. But anyway, yeah, it's definitely toughened me a bit. I think it's strengthened me a bit to be
Yeah.
more adaptable and ready for anything really. Because back then when I was moving around, it was really just like, hey, tomorrow we're moving, and you can't really do anything about it. So you got to like kind of come to terms with that extremely fast and move. So yeah, I think in the future it would have, this lifestyle would have definitely helped me out here.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's just kind of like just being ready for anything almost. I think
yeah.
that's part of it is it can happen so fast. So that's probably my personal biggest takeaway as well. Right on board with you. And we met in Okinawa. I don't know. I loved it there. What was some of your favorite things about living in Okinawa, Japan?
I mean, honestly, I know when I first moved to Okinawa, all of it just made me miss mainland because I was coming from
Oh,
mainland.
really?
That was the move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember I stepped out of the plane or whatever, and I got instantly hit by like humidity, and I basically started boiling alive right there in the airport. And yeah, so I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I had a greater connection with mainland just because it's so streamlined there. But Okinawa itself, it's not all bad. I mean, I still really enjoyed. The weather was fine once you got used to it. It was beautiful there. The beaches, the shoreline, it was just great. And yeah, I don't know. I think just kind of like Japanese society and just culture is something really nice to just get lost in. Like you go off base and do whatever you like, and it's real safe, and you can kind of just explore, and I really like that. So
what other differences are there from living in mainland Japan versus Okinawa? Because you did them back to back, so they must have been pretty glaring.
yeah, so a big thing, Okinawa doesn't have metro or trains, just because
Right.
underneath we all have like caves and stuff. So if you built subways, like the entire island would collapse. But yeah, mainland, their subway, their metro lines, they're very impressive, like top-notch, state of the art in the world. What I really like about it, like aside from just technology, I guess, is how easy it is to use. Like you definitely don't need to like know Japanese to use it. Like
Yeah.
you just, pay a fee, basically get in and, get on the train, and you can go anywhere you want. I feel like there's this freedom
That's so
they
cool.
give you,
Yeah.
which is awesome. And I know, like, I moved before high school, but I know all my friends who stayed for high school, they always they would, the naval base in Yokosuka, like right outside the main gate is basically the Yokosuka train station, so they could take that and go to Yokohama or whatever, or even get up to Tokyo. So
Yeah.
you have a lot of freedom at very little cost. So that's fantastic. I think I definitely missed the train line.
Could you imagine something like that in the States, man? I mean, I know we're talking about a lot more lands, but just taking like I know there's like trains and stuff, and something as fast as some of those subways or anything. I don't know. It would be pretty cool to travel that conveniently.
Yeah, it would.
And yeah, Okinawa as well. You were talking about the humidity when you step off the plane. There's no feeling like arriving at the Naha airport and just taking that first step and going, like you only get like 20% of the air you were expecting, and it's just like hits you.
Yeah,
it's just blazing
it
in
was
that
an
glass tunnel.
experience.
Yeah, it's, yeah, good memories.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anywhere else that you've traveled to while living in Asia that was extremely impactful on you or anything like that?
Probably just going back to China. Like I've haven't done it too recently, but I know when I was a kid, I would go back a lot because a lot of my extended family are there.
Yeah.
So I know the thing was when I was a kid was I basically spend a good deal of my summers when I'm out of school in Shanghai with my aunt and
Wow.
uncle. So it's definitely impacted me because I felt like, especially moving to America and like, getting all caught up in the military lifestyle, moving around so frequently, you kind of forget like where you come from. Or at least for me, that's shouldn't be said for everyone. But I felt like the more I moved, the more distant I was away from my roots. So going back to China and being in that lifestyle again was very, very, I think, a good learning experience. Kind of reminds you of who you are, of where you really come from. And I really enjoy spending time with my extended family there. It's just a different, I think it's really cool because I have, America, I have Japan, and I have China, and they are vastly different societies and cultures that you live in. So yeah, it's definitely impacted me going back and seeing just where I came from, because a lot of my family, like my aunt and uncle, they live only like a couple blocks from where I was born, essentially, and where I grew up as a kid. Like you don't really move around there. So yeah.
Yeah, you hear a lot of downsides with military kids and like moving and not really having a place to call home, but it's so cool, like for you to have like 3 different places that you feel like really connected to, and you can feel almost at home, if not entirely, in those places. And it's really unique. Not a lot of people have that. So yeah, really cool stuff, Max. I have a game that I want to play with you. I had a very similar game back in like episode 9 called Name That Mac, but this is Name That Max. Each word has max within the word or thing or whatever I'm referring to. So just keep that in mind. It's gonna say max in there. I'm gonna give you the definition or a hint, and you're just gonna tell me what you think the word is, Max. Simple enough.
Boy.
Sounds good.
So
if you
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please. Any questions? I don't know.
So is this kind of like an expose kind of thing where like if I crash and burn and I don't get it, it's gonna look super embarrassing and I'm just gonna look like an idiot in front of all your fans? Or
No. I'm not trying to make anyone look like it. I just think, I don't know, like something you need to do. I try to spice up the podcast every now and then. Jeez.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
There's like one or two.
Right.
There's one or two that would be pretty embarrassing if you missed. But I think you're. Sorry, I should lead with that. They don't know which one or two I'm talking about. Now you just have to get 2 right. There's 1, 2, 3, 6.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I'm ready.
Name that max number 1. This is the greatest or highest amount possible or attained.
Maximum.
Yes, there you go. Ding. Give me a ding sound. That's what I'm talking about.
I got 1
for 1.
All right.
Here you go. See, this isn't too bad. Next, this is the most intense, exciting, or important point of something.
I feel like this could also be maximum.
It is not maximum. I did not repeat. Come on.
I feel like you could kind of
This
twist the
movie-
definition.
Oh
What-
god.
That
was
what was
that
it
was
again?
the most intense, exciting, or important point of something.
I feel like this could still be maximum. Like,
it
would
is-
that not fit into the definition? What is it?
Climax.
Ooh, I don't like that word.
What?
Anyways, you can go on.
Like of a
just don't-
story?
I don't
Oh,
think of that word a lot.
Okay, whatever.
It's not my
All right,
fault.
This is America's.
Yeah.
You don't think of that word.
It's not in my vernacular. I don't usually say that word. But anyways, you can go ahead with number 3.
Okay. This is America's largest used car retail company.
Remax? No? Wait,
No,
that's for
not
houses,
quite.
right?
Not quite, yeah.
What is
Used
it gonna-
cars.
Used cars.
Yes. They have a
I
ton
don't
of
know anything about
commercials.
I'm sorry, Shannon. I don't know
That would
anything about
be
used cars.
CarMax. CarMax.
I've literally never heard of that.
You've never heard of CarMax.
I'm not even lying. I've never heard of that. I'm so sorry.
Okay. That shit. It's gonna be rough. Those are the easy ones. Guys, we can't name the Maxes today. We'll come back next week. All right. This is an animated TV show. It features 2 bunnies. The 2 main characters are 2 bunnies. They're siblings, and they live in a town called East Bunny Hop. It started in 2002.
Max and Ruby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ding. Max and Ruby. Ruby
That's
and
what-
Max.
I'd always get attention because that show was really popular, and
Yeah.
I'm Max, and the rabbit's name is Max too. So
Yeah.
Gener-
There you
no,
go.
naturally,
I love
naturally.
that show.
I loved it too. It was awesome.
That's good. Okay. See, I felt good about that one. There we go. This next one. This is a website. It's America's source for high school sports. That's their slogan. It features stats, rankings, and leaderboards for high school athletes.
I feel like I know this, but I feel like I've been there. I feel like I've been on this website before, but I don't know the name.
You
I'm
probably
sorry.
have. That would be Max Preps. Max Preps.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Name of the
I'm just out of it. I'm not in touch with my Max.
You're off your game. You're Max. You should be better with your Max. Come on.
No,
this is-
I'm being ashamed to the Max community right now.
Yeah, all the other Maxes watching are deeply.
Yeah,
embarrassed.
they're cringing right now. They're like biting their fists, like, God, this guy doesn't know what he's doing.
All right, this is the last one. I
Anyways.
don't know if I should even bother. This is a type of contract in the National Basketball Association, the NBA, that allows a team to re-sign a player up to 5 years, worth 35% of their salary cap.
Are you making this up? Like,
I'm not making this up.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know basketball. I definitely don't know.
Escalation. I didn't know if you're a basketball fan. All right, that is a supermax.
Supermax.
and that
Well, I don't
will-
even think this is basketball. This is like contracts and management and stuff.
It's a part of the league. This is that wraps up Name That Max, guys. Thanks for playing. Move on to the next portion of the show, the preposterous predicament. Now, Mac,
3 seconds on the clock. I'm playing basketball. It's time for an in-your
now, Max, you are a part of the glasses wearing community. I knew that.
Yes.
So, this Would You Rather is based on that for you.
Fantastic.
Max, would you rather have to wear 2 monocles, one for each eye, all the time, or always wear prescription laboratory goggles?
Well, I don't know if you've seen the laboratory goggles that have come out recently, but are we
No,
talking about like Kubasaki
I'm talking
High School,
the Kubasaki
like
chunky,
in the little
like
cabinet? Those
plastic with like the kind of gross band. There's like lint in it.
I think I would choose the 2 monocles because,
2 monocles.
yeah, those goggles they really push into you, and so
They
when you
do.
take them off, you have those like red marks. That'd be
Uh-huh.
weird. I think the monocles are classy, and the fact that there are 2 of them, it kind of doubles the classiness. So yeah, I'm gonna pick the monocles.
Is there? I feel like there's a inconvenience factor associated with monocles though, because if you just like look down, isn't there a chance they slide right off, or do I not know how monocles work?
Actually, that's a good question. I don't know if. I think you really just like you gotta
Yeah, I
like,
think
use
it
your
just sits
muscles,
there.
right? You gotta use your
Yeah.
muscles to like.
You really like squint
crunch
up,
down.
get that, yeah, get a little bit of a surface. That's interesting because I don't know. cartoon characters wear them so easily. I don't know if it's really applicable. Maybe that's why you don't see a lot of people with monocles. Maybe that's it.
No, we've outgrown them.
Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, well that wraps up the preposterous predicament. Max, that's all I got, man. This was a fantastic episode with you. I expected nothing less. You're an absolute class act. They want to find you out, like plug your Instagram or something. If anyone wants to reach out, talk to Max about Penn State or Naval Rotc. I'm sure he's glad to help. Very nice guy. And maybe even about Daily Collegian, read his articles. I'll link to that too. We want to get Max some publicity out here. And once the Shanon Show gets on there, then I'll get publicity. It's a really nice cycle. It's going well.
Quid pro quo. You scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yes.
I just can't wait. I can't wait till next semester when we're back and Shanon Show's really taking off, and I'll pitch your idea, and like you'll have. Remember when we were in downtown and we were looking for properties, and there was this one right in front of campus. With the display windows. Of like that could be Shanon Show headquarters. It's gonna be it. And the display cases or whatever, you could like put like your merch and stuff. It can be
perfect.
It's ideal. Shanon,
have a studio in there. You'll be the first guest in the new studio if I ever get a studio. I swear.
That would be fantastic.
Wherever it is, we'll fly out, Max. We'll get them there, guys.
Jimmy Kimmel better watch out, man. Like watch out. Late night with Shanon. It's happening.
Oh my! I'll see you guys next week. Thanks again, Max. Have a good one, everyone.